Hi, welcome aboard. For many years now, Australia's population of feral goats has been seen as a serious problem. The perception is that they eat everything in sight and have a tremendously negative impact on the environment. In fact, in some states, a process of complete and, I might say, very expensive eradication has been put in place. Experience has proven that this is not necessarily the case. Goats are browsers, preferring foliage to grass. This enables them to survive in areas in which other domestic animals would experience serious difficulties. Controlled and managed, they can be used to improve the productivity of western pastures. Farmers and graziers who have taken the trouble to research the goat market have found that there is more goat meat eaten in the world than any other red meat, and that our feral goats are extremely healthy and with a diverse gene pool. Farmers who, up until a short time ago, would shoot feral goats on site and leave the carcasses for the crows and dingoes, are now looking to them as a valuable resource, with a growing local market and a lively demand from overseas. For many years, Peter Firth and his family bred Angoras for their fleece, and in 1988 they visited South Africa to attend an international mohair conference and visit the leading Angora goat studs. During this visit they were introduced to the indigenous Boer breed and realised that the Boer, spelt B-O-E-R, represented a supplementary gene pool which had the potential to greatly increase the value of our ferals as table animals. They imported some breeding stock and a whole new world opened up for them. Peter, what got you started in the goat business?
The opportunity to diversify from sheep and cattle in southwest Queensland.
And where do you see the advantage in that diversification?
It is an alternate source of income which can be generated without a great deal of trouble over and above the original enterprises.
Boer Milan is the president of the Boer Goat Breeders Association of South Africa. During a recent visit to Australia, I had the opportunity to talk to him.
A few farmers in the Eastern Cape of our country started way back in the 1920s, 30s through selection and just breeding and improving the indigenous goats of our country, which was much worse than your feral goats are at the moment, by improving them and selecting and they ended up with this animal as we have it today. Definitely the best meat goat in the world, and I think we are very proud of the animal that our farmers produce.
Boer goats are docile and exhibit the highest growth rate of any small ruminant in the world, gaining up to 350 grams per day from birth under good management. They have a very high meat-to-bone ratio, and these qualities make them the ideal meat production animal. This is greatly enhanced by the fact that they will mature in around half the time of a feral goat. Whilst the Firths are sending animals to the abattoirs at the present time, their major initiative concerns the building of Australia's stocks and the introduction of Boer genes in a planned and controlled program. Boer Milan was hugely impressed with the quality of our ferals and with the success of the crosses. The Firths recently held an open day at their Boer stud property Kurrajong near Oakey in Queensland. Visitors numbered upwards of 250, and a feature of the day was a spit roast. The goat meat, called chevron, was served ungarnished and was received with delight by everyone. It is tender and sweet and is very similar on the palate to prime quality lamb. Kurrajong is running 550 top quality Boer breeders, and the Firths are well advanced with their embryo transfer program. This has the general atmosphere of a theatre in a hospital. The goats are sedated and the eggs are taken. In this particular session, 208 eggs were taken from 6 purebred Boer does and implanted in feral does. The open day demonstrated that there is keen interest in Boer and Boer feral crossbreeding on the part of a diversity of farmers. The flocks integrate well with cattle and sheep, and their preference for browse means that there is very little competition for pasture. An interesting fact is that the goats controlled timber regrowth, improving the quality of the pasture without the need for chemicals. The first 56,000 acre property at Bollen in central western Queensland runs 3,500 head of ferals and first and second Boer feral crosses, and is a major part of the Firth's intensive husbandry research program. Many farmers see containment as a potential problem. As part of their research, the Firths have successfully trained their flocks in a very interesting way.
The containment goats is probably what is stopping most people from really considering them as an option. We go through a training program with the ferals we catch. We place them into a training paddock, which is electrified, and this basically gets them used to the electric fences that we use on this property. And then after about 2 to 3 days, we don't have much problem with animals then escaping.
Boer Milan reports that South African Boer producers cannot fill the local demand, which is continually growing. Australia is the world's largest exporter of goat meat, and with no competition from South Africa, it's clear that, with the assistance of the remarkable Boer genes, we're able to establish this country as the world's premier export producer of prime quality Capretto and Chevron. The research and husbandry initiatives of the Firths are essential to the healthy growth of this industry, and they're keen to talk to and support those who wish to diversify into goat production. They have a number of Boer, buck and doe breeders available, and they can be contacted on 0755 305247 or call me on the number which comes up at the end of the show, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with them. We'll be back right after this break.